Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you guys are having a beautiful, fantastic day today. I hope you guys are staying happy, staying healthy, staying motivated. Guys, we're going to talk about something that's going on right now in this country. It is a bit of an unpopular topic, or I guess you could say it is a bit of a popular topic. People are going broke. Now, let's get right into it. The U.S. economy and really the real estate market are synonymous. They move up and down with each other. When the market is hot, things are going well, economy is booming. When real estate goes down and vice versa, the other is affected. So why is this, everybody? Why are people going broke? Now I want to be clear here. I'm not saying that every single person is going broke. There are obviously individuals right now who are thriving, who are uh, enjoying prosperity, who are having great financial independence, great financial growth. So this doesn't apply to every single person. But to the average person right now in this beautiful country, people are struggling. People are struggling. People are struggling to make ends meet. People are living paycheck to paycheck. And there's a good amount, an overwhelming amount of people that are living like that, you know. And going to, in relationship to real estate, when you think of how many people are actually buying homes and how many people are being able to afford home, guys, it's I don't want to say impossible because that's a negative, pessimistic way to say it, but man, it's very hard for the average person, the average couple to buy a home, even a condo, guys. You know, if you can't afford a home, the second best thing is, oh, go to a condo. Well, let me tell you something, guys. Most condos here in South Florida, the association, it's normal now that associations are anywhere from 400 all the way to like $800-900, guys. This is a normal, real figure here. This isn't something that we're making up. I can tell you from my personal experience, my association where I live, when I moved there about 4 years ago, was $335. Right now, guys, I'm paying $630. So in about 4 years, my association has doubled. And what do I as a resident and an owner get? We just did our 40-year certification. They painted the building, which the paint is already coming off the building. They did some structural work to the units they deemed that needed it the most. My unit did not get it. But the point is, guys, is that, right? Oh, can't afford a home, go buy a condo. Well, because associations are so high, a lot of times, guys, with the association and the mortgage, you're actually paying just the amount of, just a similar amount of an entry-level home, if not more, in a condo than what you are paying in a single family home, which is crazy. So going back to what we're talking about, why is this? Why are people going broke? Well, to put it quite frankly, guys, the amount of debt, the amount of loans, the amount of borrowing right now that's going on is increasing substantially, okay? It's increasing substantially. And I want to show you guys this graph so you guys can see some hard data. Let me pull up real quick. So going to what we're saying, so I'm going to put this graph on. If you see in this graph, you got the red line, which is the average hourly earnings. The blue line is personal interest payment. If you look at around 2008, 2010, that's when we had our housing crisis, when things were not pretty. A lot of people lost jobs. Banks went out of business, which is crazy to even say. And what you had, guys, at that point was, where that line intersects the red and blue line, is that there was an increasingly amount of borrowing and debt going on, higher, about a little higher than what it was they were making average, their average wage. So average wages, for that to go up, you guys know, it's a long, arduous process. Doesn't happen overnight. You know, when wages increase, they do happen, but it's not, they usually cannot keep up with the cost of inflation, the cost of goods, groceries, gasoline, electricity. All of it goes into the same pile of expenses, monthly expenses. And now if you look now at that same graph, where we're at now, I'm going to circle it for you, where we have the personal interest payments overwhelmingly higher than the wages. People are borrowing much more right now than they can afford. I'm going to say that again. People are borrowing much more than they can afford. So what happens when you borrow much more than you can afford? Well, it's like seeing a saying a dog bit off more than he can chew. You have to pretty much work to pay off interest payments, pay off debt, to get debt free. The thing is, I hope that you guys, and listen, I get it. You know, if you use debt in a smart way, you can have great benefits of it. Sometimes we don't have the cash for a couple $1,000s for any purchase. We finance it, or we can pay it, no problem. The issue is, guys, is that when we continuously do that, raising our debt, when we should be doing the opposite. And again, this isn't everybody. There are people that are debt free, people that are making a whole lot of money in every economy, down economy, up economy. That's what it is, right? Let's be realistic here. But the biggest issue is that people's debt, guys, is going crazy right now. You have buy now, pay later programs for pretty much anything. I mean, you can buy now, pay later for alcohol. You can buy now, I mean, you name it, guys, buy now, pay later. And listen, again, if there's real important things that you got to take care of that maybe you don't have the money right now, I get it. I completely get it. But the problem is when everybody's just borrowing, and now you have this crazy debt. You know, the national deficit is ridiculous right now. So yeah, guys, so that's pretty much what's going on right now. You have an overwhelming amount of debt going on in this country. People are just borrowing. And the thing is with borrowing, if you have low interest rates, guys, low interest rates throughout, you know, in the current market, it's not the end of the world when you have low interest rates, because you're not paying an overwhelming amount of fees on this debt. Problem is right now, interest rate is very high. It's not historically high, but it's a 20-year high. Everything to borrow money, the cost of borrowing money is not it's not ideal right now to be borrowing money. And I hope that the people that are watching this isn't financial advice. I hope that the people that are watching this are being smart with their debt, using credit cards that are low interest, you know, taking advantage of zero interest rates. But again, this can cause problems, right? Because I'm not saying to go get 10 cars, put $50,000 on no interest, and then when it comes time that you gotta start paying interest, you're paying 20, 35, 40%. No, I'm not saying to do that either. But I hope that the person that's watching this, please be smart with your money. This is not only something that I'm telling you outwardly, this is something that these are words that I tell myself. When things, right now, guys, you're seeing homes on the market lasting longer than you're usually you're usually used to. You're seeing properties, you're seeing rentals vacant. The amount of buyers right now, because the interest rate's so high, they're not wanting to buy homes right now. And this all has an effect, everybody. It all has an effect on the market. It all has an effect on our economy. Now, let's get into something real quick. Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to say this in a way to brag. I'm just going to say this in a factual, stating a fact. I graduated I got a 4-year degree in economics. So I learned a little bit about economics, micro and macro, from the individual household to an economy. So I'm just going to get briefly into this. When you normally have low interest rates, this is just a general overview. We're not going to get into the technicals. But when you have low interest rate, you have more people willing to borrow money. And what that does is that it creates more money flow in the economy. It increases GDP, presumably, right? This economics isn't art. It's based off of theory. So presumably, we can make the assumption that if all things remain equal, you have low interest rate, more people are going to be borrowing money, more money flows, more people can make money, more jobs. It just affects the economy in a better way. But when you have high interest rates, it's the opposite. You have high interest rates because you want to slow the economy. It's too hot. Economy's too hot. You need to be very careful when you're dealing with economy. That's why economists at that level, at the federal level that work in the presidential cabinet, you know, we hope that these guys know what they're doing. But again, this is all based off assumption. It's all based off of an art. It's all based off of theory. So So yeah, guys, so pretty much you combine high interest rates with high inflation. Pretty much, how do you get high inflation? To just keep it simple, the Fed prints money, there's an increase of money in the economy, and the value of the dollar decreases. Why does it decrease? Because the more supply there is of anything, decreases the value. Again, this is just to keep it in simple layman terms. Okay, the Fed right now has printed billions of dollars. I don't want to state the wrong number here. I don't know if it's in the trillions, but it's for sure in the billions. We're not going to get into politics, but obviously financial aid to different parts of the world, Ukraine, and no, we're not going to get into that. But all this, guys, is printing money. It's printing money. And every time they print a dollar, it decreases the value of your dollar. And what does that mean? The cost of goods go up. So if your dollar is worth less, that same jug of milk that you want to buy for $5 is not worth $6 because every dollar has less value. So that's pretty much, just a quick synopsis of what's going on. Sometimes you hear this on the news and it's a little hard to understand. And it's good to remain knowledgeable, everybody, because the more you know, the better it is, the wiser you can be with your money, right? So right now, there's an overwhelming sentiment in the stock market that the Fed is going to cut interest rates in June, which is interesting, right? If they cut rates in June, going back to what we're talking about, that's going to increase the flow of money. And at a certain point, guys, you cannot let inflation get out of control. You cannot just keep printing money and printing money and printing money. If you guys have ever been to a third world country, I mean, Dominican Republic, most of South America, their dollar or their peso, 1 peso is worth like, I don't know what it is right now, but it's worth like $50 or sometimes $80. Sometimes, guys, it's like 1,000 pesos is worth $1. So, and what is that? That's inflation. That's too much money in the market. It decreases the value of everybody's currency, okay? So now Vanguard came out and said they do not believe the Fed is going to decrease this. They're not going to cut rates. They believe the rates are either going to remain the same, and hopefully they don't increase the interest rate, but they do not believe the rates are going to be cut. And guys, you guys got to understand, the economy, all these decisions, it plays a big part in the political world. And why do I say that? Because the president, whoever it is at the current time, we all know who's the president right now, they always they don't want to ever do anything that makes them look bad. They don't want to ever, like, for example, they don't want to do something right now that drastically affects the economy in a negative way. Why is that? Because elections are coming up and these guys want to win again. It's as simple as that. So for our current president to want to slow the economy, that's a hard pill to swallow, even though the economy does need slowing, guys. Things are too hot. Real estate market prices are very high right now, guys. Very, very, very high. Yes, there is regulations and rules for loan officers and for banks, but you got to understand, even though that's a big part of their business, loans, they have other instruments in ways they make money. And banks are very clever and they can be very sneaky, guys. They find loopholes around laws. They do things that the average person like you and I will not know about. Similar to what happened in the 2008 crisis, when all these subprime loans were being approved for people that couldn't afford their homes, under the assumption that, hey, if I'm going to buy this home today for $500,000 and I can't afford it, I'm just going to pay interest and I'm going to sell it in a year and make 600 grand. That was really happening, guys. This was really happening, And what happened is, when the bubble popped and these subprime loans all went bad, banks were pretty much bankrupt. And if the banks are bankrupt, guys, it affects all of us. It affects every single person. So what happened in that situation, the banks that went bankrupt got bailed out by the U.S. government. And there are a lot of perspectives on this, guys. But again, we're just going to keep it simple. One of the main reasons why the banks got bailed out was because, let me go this way, is because it was to help mitigate an extreme financial loss in the U.S. economy. That's why the government did it. Yeah, they're probably, politics are politics. We're talking about people that are very powerful, have a lot of influence, that are well into the political field, big time lobbyists, right? There's obviously a lot of factors to this, guys, but one of the main reasons they did it was to mitigate a even further financial crisis. Because at the end of the day, if this country goes through a financial crisis, a lot of people get affected, guys. A lot of people lose their jobs. A lot of people lose their homes. You know, so that's just the gist of it. We're not going to get into the details of it, but that's what happened. So, and then now the kickback is, well, why did they do that? Well, why did they do that? Why did they get bailed out if they were not acting? They were acting in a greedy, selfish way, which is very true. It almost gives an incentive for banks to do what they want and expect Uncle Sam to bail them out. I agree with that 100%. But guys, these banks have trillions of dollars in assets. They are worldwide. I'm not saying to bail them out, but there needs to be stricter regulation and rules to what these guys are doing. The banks do not act on our interests, on the American people's interests. They act on their own interests. This is the truth. This is fact. All right. So, but anyway, just a quick synopsis of that. So, will the rates get cut? Probably not, because the current political cabinet doesn't want to make it seem that their actions have affected the economy in a negative way, even though there should be actions being taken right now to help the situation, to help this debt situation. But again, it's politics. We're not going to get into that. So, being here in South Florida, everybody, most desirable, I think the word, I don't want to butcher this, metropolitan areas. And I say desirable, right? Because there's a homeless in them, but like Miami, New York, or different areas in New York, obviously. Well, New York in general. California, even though with everything that's going on, these are pretty desirable areas. And there was some data that came out, and it said to live in these places, let's say Miami, you need to be making about $93,000 a year. So let's call it what it is. You got to be pretty much right around six figures to live comfortably here. To live comfortably and live by the 50-30-20 rule, the 50% you pay your bills, expenses monthly, 30 is disposable income, do what you want, 20% is for retirement savings, right? The stark truth about all this, guys, is that, one second. The stark truth about all this, everybody, is that most people, especially here in South Florida, do not make six figures, guys. You know, the average income in South Florida is about anywhere from $45,000 to $60,000. So think about that for a second. And you know, it's just not to blame the companies that pay them. No, it's just when you have all this free money, and it's not free, but I'm saying this borrowing money with this high interest rate where people can barely afford to pay their rent or their mortgage, people will borrow money. And then you have the high interest rate. They're going to be paying an excess amount in just interest payments. Now, who wins out of this, right? It's not all bad. Who wins? Well, I'll tell you who wins. The people that have minimal debt, have high leverage, and are using this high interest to make money on their own money. So if you have a savings account that pays you 5% on, let's say, $1 million, you guys can do the math. It's a lot of money. So there are winners in all this, guys. There are winners in all this. What I'm trying to get at, everybody, is work on paying off your debt. I know it's hard. You know, there are debt consolidation companies that help with debt. They can set up more accessible monthly payments. But guys, we need to be thinking ahead of the future because I don't know if we're going to have a crisis or crash, but I do believe prices are going to drop. And again, the people that are going to benefit from the drop of prices is people that have savings and have been saving and have been leveraging themselves in the correct manner. Okay? So if you have people that can't pay bills, what does that mean? That means more repossessions on material things like vehicles, more foreclosures on homes, all this negative impact on the economy and for the average person. Because again, people can barely afford houses now. Who do you think is going to be buying these houses when people do foreclose? Or who do you think is going to be taking over these car payments? Who is going to take advantage of the people that are leveraged in the proper way, guys? There are always winners, even in a down economy. And I want to be a winner. I want you to be a winner as well. But we all have to work on minimizing our debt. Maybe not just prioritize what we need and what we don't need. Another way to really help, guys, is having a partner. You know, having a boyfriend, girlfriend, having someone that helps, having a roommate, having someone that helps with all of this, right? Having someone that you can split the payments in half, where you can save more and pay down your debt. You know, this helps greatly. And I know obviously it's another controversial thing, you know, we're not gonna get into the details of that, but these are just ideas, guys, right? We all want to have little to no debt so we can all nourish and flourish in this world, especially in this country where we need money to survive. Okay, so another aspect I want to get into is commercial properties and rentals. Commercial properties right now, everybody, the people that bought commercial properties within the past year to 2 years paid a high amount of money. We're talking millions of dollars, right? So commercial property can be buildings that are used for business. Commercial properties can be residential rentals with 4 or more units. So you're having these people that paid all this money, this high amount for commercial properties, for rentals. And what's happening now is that because they pay such a high amount and because they need to make money on their investment, they're charging a high amount for their rent, for their monthly rent, yearly rent, whatever, however it is they're charging. And what does that mean? Well, because they paid so much, so high, they need to charge a high amount of rent. And what's the problem? People cannot afford high rent right now, everybody. People are having issues with this. And what does that mean in turn? More losses, more foreclosures, more repossessions. It's all a vicious cycle, guys. It's all a vicious cycle, you know? So, you know, going back to presidential elections, I want to just state this clear. Nobody is coming to save us. Nobody. There is no president that is going to fix your financial situation. There is no politician that will fix your financial situation. This will not happen. There may be presidents that enact certain policies that are good for the general public. Hopefully, that's what kind of one of their jobs is supposed to be doing. But to expect that we're gonna see a president come and just flash a wand and everything gets fixed, that's not happening, guys. One of the president's primary concern is making sure that the money keeps flowing. And that means whatever it takes, you know, whatever it takes, the money to keep flowing, people can keep their jobs, keep the markets hot, whatever it takes. You got to print more money, even though it increases inflation. Print more money, you know, keep the interest rates high because these things are so hot. They're like, no, things are so hot, we're just going to keep it as it is. There's a reason why we have high interest rates, guys. They're trying to slow the economy, and things are not slowing as they predicted. Again, economics is not a science, it's an art. You study theory and you try to go based off historical plans or strategies that you've done in the past, hoping things will work. But economy is a very tricky thing, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a one solution fix all, okay? So now I want to get into something that's very interesting too. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency right now is a topic you're seeing everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Everybody's talking about it. I believe Bitcoin itself is going to be halved soon. And again, I'm not into the details of what it means, how exactly that happens, but it's going to get halved. So there could be possibly um, benefits to maybe, and again, I'm not a financial advisor, but just take a look at those things, guys, because it could be something that can help maybe gain you some money, and it could be something you can lose money, right? Let's be realistic here. I'm not here to tell you to buy anything. I'm just here to kind of just tell you, just be on the lookout for different opportunities, because that's all we can do, right? Always be on the lookout for opportunities. So crypto might be that, but we don't know necessarily. That's another very, very risky investment. There are people that have made a lot of money, there's people that have lost a lot of money, okay? But what I'm trying to get into with the Bitcoin is it could be that in the future, guys, because of all this going on with money, the dollar, there could be some sort of implementation of cryptocurrency. I don't know when, where, or how. Obviously, Bitcoin is kind of a complicated topic. I mean, I don't really understand fully exactly what it is, but I know that you can buy right now. There are businesses that accept Bitcoin, depending on what the business is. Some do, some don't. They accept Bitcoin. They get, let's say it's $1,000. You send them $1,000 in Bitcoin. It's an instant transaction, pretty much. They get it. They can get it right away, and it's valuable. It has value. They can sell it, convert Bitcoin into dollars, and cash out. So where I'm going with this is that there may be something going on, or something that happens where, let's say the government, and again, this is just us thinking, right? Let's say the government wants to start focusing on Bitcoin, wants to start, let's say not Bitcoin, in any cryptocurrency, but they want to run transaction in cryptocurrency because they can't just make cryptocurrency, they can't make Bitcoin. It's a limited amount, to my understanding, right? But make transactions based off of cryptocurrency. And what you can have there is possibly transactions in the future that, is minimal fees. It's right away. And let's say you're going to buy a home, for example, you can just send in Bitcoin. Bada bing, bada boom. Now, there's obviously more intricate details to that. Don't think that you can get around taxes or stuff like that, guys. All this is tracked at this point. If you make $1 million in Bitcoin, you will get taxed for that. There's already policy being enacted to track all of this crypto, But anyway, it could mean that maybe in the near future, there are possible avenues to buy real estate with Bitcoin. So again, I'm not telling you to invest in Bitcoin. I'm not telling you not to invest in Bitcoin. I'm just saying, just always look for opportunities, guys, because there are opportunities in this world. You can be someone who's an opportunist, looking for little ways, legal ways, of course, to make money. Or you could be someone who's an absolute pessimist, who everything is like, oh, this is not going to help in any which way. So that's pretty much it, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys subscribe. I upload real estate content every single day to my Instagram, to my TikTok, to YouTube. Follow me, subscribe. I'm always trying to keep people as informed as possible on the current real estate market. I show townhomes, condos, villas, single family. I show it all, guys. I try to keep you guys as informed as possible of what's going on in the market. If you guys are looking to buy or you're looking to sell, my name is Joel Vargas. I'm a licensed and insured realtor here in South Florida. My number is 305-988-2230. And I would love to work with each and every one of you guys. Again, if you guys have any questions, call me, text me. I'd be more than happy to help. More than happy to answer anything that I can for you guys. And again, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you guys think of the economy right now? What do you think is going to happen? Where are you with the economy? Are you someone who's thriving in this economy? Are you someone that maybe is saying, oh, well, I'm working to get to that point? Are you someone that, could obviously use a little less inflation, a little lower interest rate, better gas prices, better grocery prices? Let me know in the comments below. Again, if you guys have any questions, comments, text me. I would love to hear from you guys, and I would love to work with you. I want to be the best realtor that I can for each and every one of you guys. I hope you guys stay happy, stay motivated, stay healthy. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.